Welcome to Trading Lounge and the daily US stocks for Wednesday the 21st of December, the equinox. And just starting with the S&P quickly, yesterday we were just waiting for a low to come in here. So we've got that low in here at the moment. And well, as far as Elliott Wave goes, we should be heading back up into the 50-60% at this point, but a lot of the time we don't make it to that point. So we'll just see how how things get established at this point, because we can see here we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. So I could put wave A here and I could put wave B here. This little move here is also in 5 waves as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here and pulling back, so it's building. So we've either got wave A there, which is a really long way away, isn't it, from where we need to go. So perhaps we'll put this wave up here, and if we copy this here as 1 and 2 here, let's just get rid of the B wave for a moment. And then you can see that we'll need 3 waves to the upside here. So wave 3, 4 and 5, and then an ABC correction. So probably something like this, and we'll hit 39 roughly, and we'll have some sort of ABC correction. And then, so what we're looking for to short up here is really we're looking for that 5-wave structure. So we'll get 3 waves here that can pull back 50-60%. This is much the same with a lot of stocks, but with stocks you've got some strong and some weak. So the stronger ones will rally higher and the weaker ones will follow, and they won't go as far and all those sort of things. So you really want to short the weaker ones. And then what you're looking for is, well, 5 waves here, really, and we may or may not get up there. I mean, markets do like big numbers, everybody's thinking of them, and that's basically why, the psychology of it. So, but there'll also be 5 waves in this last wave here as well. So try to decipher that. But if you can't get it, I mean, it's good to look for it, and sometimes you get it, and you can give yourself a pat on the back, and it's easy, and other times it's difficult. So sometimes it's just easier to wait for a drop. Once you think you got 5 waves in, wave A should be roughly the same size as wave C, or some sort of equality to them. So once you get that sharp drop there, then you're sort of on your way at that point, because you've got that reference point low there. So I would like to turn this box here green, and that's what we're doing in most stocks as well at this point too. But when I turn it green here, by the way, you don't put the house and the kids on there all at once. Do you know what I mean? So just maybe chuck the dog on there first, and then just build slowly through all of this, because it's never easy at the beginning of the trend. If you see this here, this will be like 5 waves, and you got to go back 50-60%, and then it drops and you get in, and then you got to hold this one back again as well, and all of these sorts of things, and use the numbers. I mean, if it trades above 39.50, for example, well, then you can use that 39.50 on the downside as a retested resistance with a classic trading levels pattern. The classic trading levels pattern is, say if it trades high up here above the 39.50, comes down, the arrival, the reaction, the first low below the level, the ABC pattern, and then you got this low, and then you got this low over here as well, and then you got this one as well. So there's a variety. We don't need that trade in there now, but it's all done. We talked about going long here, getting support on the 38 here, so you may or may not be long, and the idea is to get to the 39 here, all the levels here, 10, 20, 30, group 1, 50, the midpoint, then group 2 here as well. Yeah, getting the top of wave 4 or somewhere in here, that would be a nice little trade. And you can get out and get back in again if you want. It's more of a day trading thing. So, but this is the trade that we want, with all the markets, is this next leg down here. Now, it may be that it's really powerful, or it may be that it's an A wave here and a B wave here and a C wave going down. So we don't know yet, but and also too, we'll be signing off after Wednesday, and we'll come back in the new year. But I will put out videos just to keep us in tune and updated a little bit. if something's happening. We want to catch this trend, and if we do catch this trend, then I'll just keep a light hand on the situation. And yeah, I'd like to thank everybody for supporting TradingLounge. I mean, it's been a great year really for us. I mean, we're building a new site, and it's going to take me about 10 days to transfer everybody over there. And the site will probably be 80% sort of functional. There's other things that we need to sort of add to the site and rebuild and do things, but there will be some improvements. We'll have that social platform on there where people can communicate and do videos and charts and all those sort of things. So that's going to be really helpful. So that's a plus. We're also going to use our old stock portfolio to put out trades, and in January all of that's going to be redesigned and then rebuilt as well. So that will take a little bit of time. There's some other portfolios on there, but next year we hopefully want to be putting out different portfolios for different strategies, like long-term holding and shorter-term trading, long and short, and those sorts of things. I still will talk about trades here, very short-term trades here that probably won't go into onto the trades page. So I'll just be shooting the breeze like I do here. But if I see a trade that needs to come down here, well then that will as a sort of short-term trend trade, well then that will go into the portfolio. But I'll just keep doing what I'm doing because I think that it's helpful, and sometimes I get it right. I mean, they're just ideas at the end of the day. So yeah, but anyway, it's been a good year for us. We've added 2 analysts. That's Alessio and Kitty Upon, and they've hung in there. They've done a quite a good job, and you'll be able to get a better layout to see Alessio's stock charts as well. And I will ask those boys to start calling out trades as well, like sort of enter above here and stop here and target here and those sort of things, and we'll see how they go. Yeah, we'll just keep building that side of it as well. Alrighty, so over to Apple here. Look, all the stocks are pretty much the same really at the moment. They've all moved down, even the cryptos have moved down. So we've moved down, and I don't think it's this wave 3 here for this. We've got wave 2 for Apple here, and we've got wave 1 here where we look for an ABC. So the same thing goes as well. I could put wave A here, and we need to be a little bit mindful of things in wave B here, but I think that we should be looking for 5 waves up here and then 3 waves back across, so to speak. So some sort of ABC pattern like this. A small position to short up here, and we can look to build in on the long side down here as well. So let's just run this out for a moment. This would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for the 3rd wave. Then there'll be the 4th wave, and then there'll be the 5th wave, and then there'll be this ABC pattern here. This will be pretty much standard across the markets, but not all markets will be doing the same. And then we'll be going down. So we'll come down to this, wherever that consolidation is, probably around the 35 will be a nice mark at this point. So understand the levels here too, work with them. So from 30 to 40 here, it's 1, 2, and 3 that make up group 1, the midpoint 5, and then 8. So they're important because when we go to short it over here, then 5 is the second strongest number. So if this area here becomes the resistance, if this market gives 5 waves down here, then we're going to see some sort of ABC back up here. And then we're going to see it coming down again. And then, of course, we're going to bounce off the bottom here as well, aren't we? So we're going to see that here again as well. So these are all places. If you don't overdo it, do you know what I mean? If you don't trade too much, big position sizes, then you can just put small position sizes in, where you think that it's right. And of course you'll be wrong, and you could be right, but expect the worst and hope for the best. But if you use very small position sizes, like really small, then they're not going to bother you, are they? And you could end up with, 5 positions in here and and then another 5 down here, and you know, that type of thing. I mean, a lot of folks just like chucking it all in and, you know, being done with it, but we'll look for that wave 3 coming down here. Then remember that this wave 3 here should be longer than this wave 1 here. So this is a good trade if you don't bugger it up, you know. I don't mean to be hard on you, but someone's got to be. So less is more, you know. So this trend here will be longer than this one, but this will also, we've already got wave 1 and 2 here. So this will be 1 and 2 again, do you know? And I've got this also too with a lot of these stocks we're going to look at. I brought this curtain down here to 40% and not 50%, because I think it's important that if we trade, that it's more important that we get in. So, you know, even if you get, you know, if you trade like 100 shares, if you just put, you know, 10 shares in there, you know, or something of that nature to short, you know, that type of thing. So just keep them small, and that way it'll keep you safe. You know, that's the trick with all of this. So, yeah, so just, you know, using the levels and using Elliott and whatever else that you use to, you know, it doesn't really matter what you do, as long as you know what you're doing. And, you know, whatever you do, it's always the subtlety and the details that make that particular indicator valuable for you, or whatever it is, you know. Okay, so this is pretty much the story with all of them. So we can pretty much just do the same thing with all of them. I'll just put in the ABC pattern here for this. So this one here is looking a little bit more sluggish, trying to get off as well the ground. So, you know, we could put the A wave here. It's still a bit small, so I'll just give it a little bit of space. Probably surprise me and go right to the top, you know what I mean? That's typical, isn't it? So yeah, and also understand the levels here. We've got 65, 72 and 80, so it's dropped out of the levels, so we need to be a bit mindful of that. And the B wave we can short as well, of course. So sometimes the B wave is useful and sometimes it's not, you know. So we might get 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here for this, and then the A wave, the B wave here, and then the C wave up here for that. So it does leave, it may or may not be valuable at that point. It may be lower here, you know, and the same thing here as well. When this comes down to this old low here, expect it to come back up 50 or 60%. So that you don't want to short it here, down here. You don't want to chase it down here. If you can get, you know, if you can get a position in the box here and get another position here and then another position on the ABC bounce back here and all of those sorts of things, then, you know, you're good to go at that point. They can all be small, and then get the last one here, split it up into 4 bets, you know. Anyway, that's that. I will just clean that. I'm just going to clean that up. We will be, if I put out another video, which I think that I probably will, I'm not scheduling any more videos from here on in. But as I mentioned, I do want to keep an eye on it. So when I do see the turn in the markets, this top here, this ABC here, wherever it comes in, I will put out a video on that and we'll get the turn, right? So, but obviously I'm in Australia and this happens in America and so on. So I just really see it on the end of the session. So Amazon here as well. So yeah, look, just expect it back to 90 at this point. So we don't, as I mentioned over the last 2 days coming down here, we don't need to do anything. You know, we can, if you're going to do anything, you may as well be long at this point, you know, and head up. But it's this leg we want. That's the main point with everything. So, yeah, let it get up there. And because sometimes, you know, you can map things out and, you know, and then they just don't pan out, you know. This is Meta Platforms here. So it's a bit of an odd old top here, and I haven't had time to resolve it properly, but because I had wave 2 here and that held in. We had that as wave 4 top, and this one stayed under that. And then I was looking for 5 waves down here. I didn't really get 5 waves. And then we got this 5 waves up here. So then I was thinking, well, perhaps we can still look at this as wave 1 here because it's 5 waves, and then look at this as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave to here. It's quite big and unusual. But now we, were talking about yesterday, because we're in here somewhere, will we get 5 waves down? And we are getting 5 waves down here. So, but be very careful about shorting it in this box here. Make sure it's very small. Otherwise, you can short it under this level here for this. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird top, this, and not quite sure it's in, but it should move with the rest of the markets, but could go quite high as well. Netflix, so same thing as well. We've been counting down as 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for third, fourth, and we're in here yesterday waiting for it to drop and bounce off the 280. So it's doing that. So we'll look for some sort of ABC pattern here and then down again at that point. So you can look to, once it trades above here, then use the 300 here as, as a classic trading levels pattern, as resistance here. So as soon as you see that resistance, then you can move into that. And Enphase as well. We talked about having a low here, but we also talked about having a low here, and this ended up because we're about here somewhere, and because it didn't look like 5 waves here. So now we can see the 5 waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we know that's low. This will be a little A and a B and C wave up here. We could short it in the box, but yeah, I just want to be a little bit careful with this particular one. So we'll need to short it. I mean, technically now, right, this here could be an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave and go up from here and make a new high. That's possible. Probably not, based on what I can see in the markets. But also the more important point here, as a 3-wave move here, as an ABC pattern to go up here further. If the market, moves up here and then takes this low out here, then this ABC is destroyed at that point. It'll be part of a bigger bear market as 1 and 2, and 1 and 2, and 1 and 2, and moving down further at that point. So you can short it here. But if you're holding long positions in your portfolios for this, then at this point here, you will need to hedge your positions at this. Well, I would anyway. So, but it doesn't have to be perfect. But locking it up, I've brought up on futures in the early 80s, and if I was unsure about a position, I'd just lock it up. So if I was 1 contract short, then I would just go 1 contract long, and then I would just lock that up, and then I would start playing. I'd never really do 1 contract, but 3 is always the minimum for me, but because it gives me more flexibility. But then I'd play in and out of that lockup in there. Do you know what I mean? So I don't have to accept a loss. I just need to do a lot more work to get out of it. It's not that I don't have losses, by the way. In share trading, I'll probably average around 7 out of 10, and that's over thousands of trades. So Tesla. So yeah, I'm still looking. We're talking about coming down into the 140 area here. So still looking for some sort of movement here, some sort of thing. So I won't map it out to exact, because I've got different counts for all of this coming down. I don't know which is the right one, but I'm quite sure we're going to have some sort of consolidation around here, some sort of bounce. And I just want to have a look at it first without trying to guess what it is. So we can just wait for this one. And Google here. So we've got from the top, we've got wave 1 here and 2 here. And then we're coming down for 1, and then we're going to go an A, B, C, back for 2. This is probably some sort of little wave 1 and 2 in here. And so on. We've obviously talked about this. This is 40%, not 50%, 62% and 40%. So we'll see how that sort of travels. It looks like it's going okay. I mean, the main thing here really is that expect some sort of corrective move across this level here, and then a push up. Okay, so you don't need to do anything. You can trade long here in all of these, as I mentioned yesterday, but this is what we're looking for here. A small trade up here, just 2 very, very small trades, one up here somewhere, if it trades above the 93 here and then comes down and finds the 92 as the resistance, that's when you put the other one in. So you'll have 2 here, and then you can have another one under here as well, under the 90, when that becomes the resistance. And then when group 2 here becomes the resistance, you can add again at that point. So just sort of building in small positions, and you don't have to, you can manage the risk, because it's all about managing the exposure, isn't it? The trend seems to take care of itself. The same here as well. With Microsoft, it'll be doing the same as Google. So yeah, we should end up, I'll put this trend line in here to come in through here, but the 240 will be the support, the 245 and 248 will be the next resistances in there. But yeah, we just need to give it a bit of time. This is also probably at 40% as well, just so in case it runs short of hitting the level, we just want to nip it in. Berkshire Hathaway here, the same as Enphase in a way. We've got 3 waves here, so any move below this one here, this current low here, we've got 1 2 3 4 5 in here. Anything below this current low here, that's going to take away that corrective bullish ABC pattern and turn it into down for 1, back for 2, down for 1, back for 2. So it'll probably go to the 310. You could short a very small position at that point. The risk is there. If you do short it here, then the stop needs to go above this top here, because if that's breached, it forces that to be a corrective pattern, and then we'll end up at 350 at that point. So anyway, they're the high risk, very low risk. When you short this here, keep the stop above the 10. 1 is the strongest number, so 10, because it just goes 1 and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 again, so you just keep working with that. And then 5 is in the middle, the halfway mark, the second strongest number, so you'd be above the 5. You don't want to put it you don't want to put it on the 10, and you don't want to put it, if you're going to put a stop in here somewhere, then the first thing you do is you go, well, 5 is the second strongest number. So you've either got to be below the 5 or above the 5. And you don't want to put it at the 5, and you don't want to put it at the 6, because if it goes to the 5, it could spike to the 6. And if you've got market makers, they'll take you, especially if it's their profit. So then you really need to go to the 7 at that point. And then, after the 7, you have to go above the 10 at that point, because, 8 is the third strongest number. Yeah, and then you got 9, so you got 10. So yeah, you have to go above that at that point. So keep it above the 10 and not at 11, 12. Probably best at, most of the stops when I'm shorting will end in 4. Or 7, so that will be like 14 here at this point. That's where I would, if I was shorting here, I'd have the stop there at 14, and then not right on the 14 either. You can go 14.4 or something. You know what I mean? Just keep it away a little bit. You'll get better results. Square. So Square's going okay. We're looking for the 5 waves down here yesterday. We're coming back up into this space here. We can short it under the 60 here. There's 60, 61, 62, and 63, and then 5. So 1, 2, 3, and 5. So yeah, let's just see how that matures. And it's the B wave that we want to be able to catch this under as well at this point. So we just got to look at how this goes. Is that, because we could put this here as wave A and B here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming up to here. So a little bit small at that point, isn't it? So probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So yeah, we'll probably end up seeing something like this, but it's that B wave there that we need as the safe trade to the downside. Bank of America. So yeah, I've also brought this down to 40% rather than 50%. Let's just see how this goes a little bit. As this matures here, we've got those 5 waves there, so that means we should be seeing wave 2 here, and then down again here. We'll be down at $20 down here, easy. That's where we're heading for some of these, if these are correct. Now, obviously, the Bank of America has dropped way down here. The other two, Chase and Goldman's, they're sort of around this area here at the moment. They've only sort of come down a little bit, you know. So this is the leading one to the downside. So with Morgan's here, I was having a little bit of trouble here yesterday with this. You know, we could get roughly 5 waves out of this first. That's the top, by the way. You know, that was a bit dodgy, and then we've got this here. Okay, fair enough. But then I can't get 5 waves down here. I've got 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 the third wave. So the third wave is beautiful, the fourth and the fifth. So yeah, I'm wondering what all of this is. I'm wondering if wave 2 really needs to go over here for that, you know. Anyway, I've got a problem here. I still don't have a wave 4. So I put an ABC here for wave 4. That looks like it's going to move up there. So that's going to be wrong at this point. So there's something not quite right here with this one. In terms of shorting this, though, this would be the go here. This one here would also be the go as well at this point. So I'll just keep an eye on this. There's, you know, it's not quite right at this point. I'm not sure what the right thing is here. I haven't had time to mull it over and let the pennies drop. So I'll just see how it plays out. It may end up way up here somewhere. So we'll just see about that one. Now, old Goldilocks here is better. We've got 5 waves down here. Correction. Then another 5 waves down here. And now we're going back for the ABC pattern, so we can put that low in that we're looking for, talking about yesterday, and this one here. So this, all of this is okay. This fits quite nicely here. So once again, we'll look for the A wave here, the B wave here. You know, if we just trade what we understand, and we'll just see how Morgan's tacks along with everything. So we should be up here covering this gap somewhere up here, you know, around the 355 to 360 at this point. Let's just see how it moves here at this stage. Let's see if we get 5 waves here. You know, this will be wave 1, 2 here, and then 3, 4, 5 up here, then a correction here, and then up. So we can also look to short under the B wave here as well. But we really want to get 2 or 3 trades in on the turn here, you know. So if you can kind of imagine this situation here, I mean, it gapped up here, but I'm not talking about that. When it gets up here, you see how we got 5 waves coming down here? As soon as you can note 5 waves coming down, then, you know, draw a line under that and short under that, but also try to get, you know, another small position up here somewhere. Sometimes this one didn't come back up 50-60%. Do you know what I mean? So it's quite low at this point. So that's a bit of an issue. So that could have the same fingerprint over here as well. This one came back up quite high here for that. So you just never know what's going to happen, you know, what the sentiment is for these things. Anyway, we'll do our best to try to recognize if we you know, the wave 2 should be simple. It should be 5 waves, 3 waves, and 5 waves. A 5, 3, 5 zigzag ABC structure for wave 2. So let's just see how that performs. We'll just keep an eye on it, and once it matures, yeah, we should be able to recognize it at that point. Well, that's it. So thanks for tuning in, and like I mentioned, maybe on the Friday or over the weekend or something or other, I'll put out a video. But when this gets to the top here, I'll put out a little video. But I won't go over all the stocks and everything. I'll just pick out the main ones, and then we'll look to build those short trades. Alrighty, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.